Welcome back, you guys. It is the first time for Nightly Newsy News in quite a while, so thank you for welcoming me back. We have tons of news. The real world seems to be interfering with my absurdity. Welcome, Wolfram. Thank you for doing your Modly Mod stuff. Good evening, Swifty and 80s Music Man OG. And let's see, JKD Buck, Dark Allele, and everyone. Good evening. So our first story is, y'all, I cannot explain to you having to try to judge reality these last couple weeks. But our first story, Greenland's leaders are ready to talk with Trump after the president-elect expressed interest in making the territory part of America. So we might be getting the 51st state, you guys. I have no idea. I feel like I returned back to the world and it was crazy. So I'm trying to get my footing back. But Greenland, who had that on their bingo card? Because I did not. Greenland's leader, Mute Ige, said he is prepared to enter negotiations with President Trump, or President-elect Trump, about the future of the mineral-rich Arctic territory, but warned his people have no interest in becoming Americans. I can kind of get it. I get it. At a press conference Friday in Denmark, which exercises nominal sovereignty over Greenland, he said that he accepted that Greenland was a place that Americans see as part of their world. And while he had not spoken to Trump, he was open to discussions about what unites us. Well, you live in a land, and we live in a land. I don't get the Greenwood thing or Greenland thing. I really don't. Welcome, Kevin. I must say I have been out of the loop, so this one's throwing me. We're ready to talk. He said cooperation is about dialogue, and cooperation means that you'll work towards solutions. Ege was joined in the press conference by his Danish counterpart, Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen. I am probably mispronouncing all of these. Greenland has been a colony of Denmark since the 18th century when it became a self governing Danish territory in 1953. See, I'm learning all about Greenland. I had no idea. In 2009, the island won the right to secure independence if they ever voted to do so, something that Agede supports. We have the desire for independence, a desire to be a master of our own house. This is something everyone should respect, he said. Greenland is for the Greenlandic people. We do not want to be Danish. We do not want to be American. We want to be Greenlandic. Greenlandic? I don't know. Icelandic rolls. Greenlandic. I don't know. We'll work on it. Marketing. Greenland's strategic importance has increased exponentially in recent years, with the icebound Arctic waterways melting and the world's powers scrambling for new real estate between the United States and Russia. I mean, y'all, I don't know. What are they going to do when we give them Walmart and, well, Twinkies? I don't know. The territory and its surrounding waters are rich in critical natural resources. Under its current status, Denmark retains responsibility for the island's defense. In the recent days, the country has sent private messages to Team Trump expressing their willingness to talk about how American security needs to be met without transferring formal sovereignty. I'm thinking it's a thank you for thinking of us, but we're both in current relationships. We don't care. It's like Greenland's look, it's not you, America. I'm just in a place where I'm finding myself right now and I want to be single. What in the Daryl Brooks am I looking at here? Daggone it, you just could not act right for 5 seconds, could you? Hell on Wheels killer who plowed car into a wall, murdering two, whined about her handcuffs during an arrest. Of course she did. Look at them caterpillar eyebrows. Just no home training. New police body camera footage captured the convicted Hell on Wheels killer, Mackenzie Sharilla, just after the cops arrested her for murdering her boyfriend and his friend by slamming the car into a wall. But the tearful teen seemed more concerned about breaking her jewelry than the hideous act that she had just committed. The July 2022 clip shows a cop walking up to a police SUV, then letting out 17-year-old Sharilla, who sits cuffed in the back seat after the fatal crash in the Cleveland suburb of Strongville. The police officer says, "Hi, Mackenzie, step out for me." The officer asks on the video published by multiple outlets, "I'm the one who's been investigating the crash, and you're under arrest for aggravated murder times two. Nobody's going to ask you any questions. No one's going to bother you." But the tearful girl later convicted of four counts of murder for killing her boyfriend, Dominic Russo, 20, and his friend Davion Flagon, 19, in the crash, was more worried about the cuffs snagging on her bracelet. Well, she does seem like human dumpster water, so could you please be careful taking this off so it doesn't break my bracelet, please? Shrilla asked through tears and sniffles. "You got it," the officer responded as he manipulated the cuffs, then refastened them. "I'm not going to tighten these, okay? I don't want to hurt you." He then led her to another cruiser and put her in the back seat, where the shell-shocked teen remained throughout her drive to the station. At one point, the Ohio girl closed her eyes and leaned over as she apparently tried to sleep on the way. You just unalived, your boyfriend and his friend, and you want to take a nap. Human garbage water. A year later, in August 2023, she was sentenced to two concurrent 15 years to life sentences for killing Russo and Flanagan in the deliberate car wreck. I feel no sympathy for you, ma'am. You made a choice and you will deal with it. Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Judge Nancy Margaret Rousseau, unrelated to the victim, called Sharilla literally hell on wheels when she announced the bench trial's verdict. "This was not reckless driving. This was murder," Rousseau told the court. "She had a mission and she executed it with precision. That decision was death." Security video captured Sharilla acting with purpose and intent by flooring her Toyota Camry up to 100 miles per hour, jumping a curb, and careening into a brick warehouse, all because her months-long relationship was reaching an end. She morphs from a responsible driver to literal hell on wheels as she makes her way down the street, the judge says. Rousseau, who was also in the passenger seat, and Flanagan, who was in the back, died at the scene. So these two young men lost their lives, and she's worried about a daggone bracelet. Now, she was found unconscious with her Prada slippers still on the accelerator. She had THC in her system over the legal limit, but prosecutors decided not to pursue charges of driving under the influence. At the sentencing hearing, Russo added that she had grappled with letting her serve a consecutive or concurrent sentences. The judge said, "I understand the pain in this room wants me to impose the harshest sentence, but I don't believe that would be the appropriate sentence because I do believe that Mackenzie won't be out in 15 years," the judge said. Yeah, this heifer is not getting paroled early. She did not testify during the bench trial, but she did read a statement in which she apologized to the heartbroken families of the two young men. The fam the families of Dominic and Davion, "I am so deeply sorry," she said between sobs, calling Dominic her soulmate. "One day, you can see I would never let this happen or do this on purpose." You done it on purpose. These statements piss me off. It's just like the Sarah Boone, like, "You just don't know the real me." Like, I'm not like really for reals a murderer, like only when you get me on a bad day. But if you're nice to me, I'm not a murderer. Ew. The families were less than accepting of her apology. Yeah, I'd have been doing one it like, "Deuces, ma'am, I don't care." Of course, I would have had my nails done. Dom and Davian were robbed of their futures, their hopes, and their dreams, Dominic's mother, Christine Russo, said in her own statement. Mackenzie showed no mercy to Dominic, nor did she on Davion. Only God at this time can have mercy on her soul. Ooh. Whew. That is a bless your heart, like, big time. Like, you have done pissed off and tested the Jesus of a very godly woman when she's like, "Okay, It's a good thing Jesus loves you because everyone else thinks you're an asshole, okay? So, sweetie, you stay with Jesus because the rest of us are gone. Like, when you have riled up a church lady enough that she's like, "Only God will have mercy on you," Imma pray for you, sweetie. Imma light a candle because you have some hate. You have some grudgery when a mom lays something like that on you. We are getting more news about the LA fires. A lot of it is, quite frankly, infuriating. So I will probably on Wednesday do a kind of roundup stream of all the fire news, but we are getting more detailed kind of information of what houses, what areas were destroyed. Shocking new maps show the utter destruction wrought by the deadly Palisades and Eaton fires in Los Angeles, offering a house by house view of impacted neighborhoods, some of which were nearly leveled completely. The two largest fires in the LA area have destroyed more than 12,000 structures and killed at least 24 people. Those numbers are expected to grow as these areas become less of a fire risk. They will be taking in animal or cadaver dogs and other people to start looking at the rubble. So I fear that these numbers are going to be much higher. An aerial view of the devastated area by the Palisades fire, which torched 23,000 acres and killed at least 8 people since Tuesday, shows entire neighborhoods in some of the City of Angels' most exclusive zip codes burned to the ground near the Pacific Ocean. So it looks like all of these houses are just gone. And I mean, it's just, it almost leaves you speechless. Your brain can't quite calculate the destruction because I've seen the videos and I've heard the talk of, football sized embers, but it just doesn't look real, you guys. It's like when I'm trying to, and you guys are gonna laugh, as someone who is so mathematically not smart that I need a calculator to do my, grocery bill. It's like when I watch an astronomy program and they talk about the number of stars and my brain just can't handle it. That's how I feel looking at these pictures. Let's see here. The map published by LA County Recovers also reveals some of the homes that miraculously escaped ruin in the blaze, which remains only 13% contained as of Monday morning, according to the latest update from Cal Fire. We estimate that well over 5,000 homes have been destroyed in the Palisades, LA Fire Department Section Chief Ken told CNN. Across the city, the Eaton fire, which has claimed at least 16 lives, has burned more than 14,000 acres near Pasadena and left some entire communities smoldering in the ashes. Sorry, I'm trying to scroll this as I'm talking to you. I'll get better. Entire blocks were razed in some cases, while just streets away, homes suffered no damages at all. The map represents properties that were spared with a black house and properties that suffered minor damage with a green house. Homes that suffered significant damages were marked with orange, and homes that were destroyed were in red. So you've got a bunch of destroyed. And we have this when tornadoes come through. It is unbelievable how, a tornado will hit this entire street, but then leave one house. And there's no rhyme or reason to it. And I'm sure the people that lost their houses are looking around at these black houses, that weren't touched and thinking, what did they do different? And there's no rhyme or reason to it, which is unfortunate because we want there to be a rhyme or a reason. The Eaton fire is now the fifth deadliest wildfire in California history, and many people are still missing. The death toll is expected to grow. As of Monday morning, that particular fire, the Eaton fire, was 27% contained 6 days after it started. Now, if you are in the California area, as an Uber nerd, I watched Ryan Hall, y'all, and it looks like there are chances for this week. And again, go watch his video. I am not a meteorologist. I'm not going to tell you the right things, but it looks like this week is shaping up to have more Santa Ana winds come in and have high, dangerous days this week. So please be careful, be aware of your surroundings. If you are in this affected area, try to stay out of places that are hard to get through if you can, and just take care of yourselves. I know you guys probably don't have power. I probably don't have a lot of California listeners as much as I dog on this state. Sorry. But I do care about each and every one of you, and I do want you to be safe. So please listen to, the smart advice. Get out of your home if you're told to evacuate, and just, be safe. I just want all of y'all to be safe. In the last of our kind of hard-hitting big stories, um, it looks like, and this could be a positive. Look, as I have said, I am completely ignorant of all of the intricacies between the Israel and Hamas sort of thing. And I don't generally cover this, but if we have, gotten a ceasefire, I think it's important. So generally, I don't touch this particular news, but this was, I think, important. Israel and Hamas have reached a breakthrough in hostage and ceasefire negotiation talks. Now, hopefully, this is something that can be moved forward with, and we can get these people home and get them the help and support and love they need, because I can't imagine having lived in a hostile place for so long. Israel and Hamas have reached a significant breakthrough in the ceasefire talks early Monday in the deal that aims to finally end more than 15 months of war and bring home remaining hostages. Talks were held in Qatar and attended by envoys of both President Biden, President-elect Donald Trump, and went into the early morning hours of Monday, with Hamas teasing the release of many of, uh, terrorists that were captured by Israel. So it looks like in order for Israel to get the hostages back, they would be giving some of the Palestinian people that they arrested in the conflict. Again, not the smartest person on this. I'm just reading the article. Although the final deal has not yet been reached, a source involved in the negotiations told Reuters that the next 24 hours will be pivotal to reaching the deal. The talks revolve in part around the list of more than 30 hostages that Hamas has said it would be willing to finally release, without saying how many might still be alive. Hamas, meanwhile, promised the release of its own terrorists while confirming it expects a deal. We renew our pledge with our steadfast and patient people, with our heroic prisoners in the prisons, and we affirm that their freedom is near, the terror group said, according to the Times of Israel. Steve Witkoff, who will become the U.S. envoy when Trump returns to the White House next week, attended the talks, a source involved with them told Reuters. Trump's inauguration is on the 20th and has long been a deadline to reach a deal, with President-elect having warned Hamas that there would be hell to pay if the hostages were not released. Among the Israeli delegation heading to the table in Doha is a Mossad spy chief, David Barina, and Israeli Defense Forces hostage point man, Major General Nitzan Alan. Biden spoke on the phone with Netanyahu Sunday and stressed the, quote, immediate need for a ceasefire in Gaza and the return of hostages, with a surge in humanitarian aid enabled by a stoppage in the fighting under the deal, the White House said. About 100 hostages, including 7 Americans, are still being held by Hamas in Gaza following the October 7, 2023 terrorist attack on Israel. Up to half of them may no longer be living, according to what officials know. So, like I said, I don't know a lot about this. I'm not going to give you a hot take and tell you what to think. You guys are all smart people. If you would like to research this conflict and figure out an answer when the bajillions of people before you couldn't, then be my guest. I hope that the families that are missing their loved ones get answers. And unfortunately, some of them are going to get very terrible answers about the terrible time that their family members had. And I want there to be peace, but I don't want it to be compromised. So, y'all, I have no idea. I wish I had words of wisdom. Maybe we can get something done. I hope so. I hope that the hostages can be returned. I'm not holding my breath, but that is the news. So, hopefully, we can get some sort of answers, but I am not sure. And welcome, Nina Ray and Von Dyen and Gregory Benway, sorry. I'm going to be able to read one of these days. Well, is Ben Affleck a Fed? What's going on here? Dude, you look more and more damn depressed every time I see you. Also, what is those sweatpants are holding on for dear life. Personal, kind of story here, but you guys know I buy my skirts like 2 sizes too big so they don't bother my leg. And they do have a drawstring, but that's why you don't put a cell phone in a pair of, a skirt that's too loose because you will be walking like the penguin to try to get your skirt back up. I have had wardrobe malfunctions, yes. So, Mr. Affleck, I totally get it. Why Ben Affleck got a visit from the FBI and LA cops at a Brentwood bachelor pad. Ben Affleck received a visit from FBI agents and Los Angeles cops at his bachelor pad amid the raging wildfires. Authorities were photographed outside the Gone Girls actor's Brentwood, California home Sunday. A representative for the FBI press relations office tells Page Six that members of the FBI Ground Intercept Task Force were conducting activity in the area of the Palisades fire relative to unauthorized drone activity. Agents and our local partners may be visible throughout the area, including various residents, for this reason. These maps of the stars people are just nuts. A source tells us that the FBI agents at Affleck's home were there to see if he had any CCTV footage of a private drone which damaged a super soaker or scooper, not super soaker, super scooper, one of the flyer flighting aircrafts. So Page Six did reach out to Affleck's rep for comment, but didn't hear back. Last week, the concerned dad of three was photographed fleeing to his first, ex-wife, Jennifer, his first ex-wife. Holy giblets. Some days they're like, I may be a hot mess express, but it's like, you know what? I don't have a first ex-wife, okay? There's always like there, but for the grace of, well, better life choices go me. Yes, I am that person that watches my 600-pound life to feel better about myself. I'm going straight to Hades, let's be real. Just now, so looks like he wasn't gonna get, taken by the feds. They were just seeing if he knew who took the drone, which kind of upsets me. Does anyone else feel bad for Jennifer Garner? I swear to goodness, she seems like the only normal one in that, like, crowd of yahoos. Don't know, never met her. Let's see, Kathy Mitchell. I'm going to have to say the Vikings just because my mom and stepdad love the Vikings, but I know nothing about football. So if you know more about football than I do, which is just anyone, go with whatever team you feel like could win because I'm terrible. I always get mad that they can't tackle them before they have the ball because then the game would end sooner. My mom said that was against the point, but I was like, but it would get football done sooner so I could watch my true crime. I think you're confused. Well, is Moana stolen? Moana 2. Interesting. This is going to be a big thing. Disney is not in the best fiscal place right now. They are getting a lot of, well, pushback with some of the maybe more political messaging that they've been putting in their shows, the lack of quality, their streaming hasn't been quite great. So this might be another, well, just terrible thing before Snow White actually comes on. Moana 2 sparks a copyright lawsuit as an animator revives idea theft claims. Now, Moana 2 is interesting as a movie because it was set to be a serial streaming show until about I believe 6 months before they announced the movie. They had somewhat of a dead space in their studio kind of movie marketing, and Bob Iger, the head of Disney, pushed through this Moana 2 to become a movie. So if you have seen, and I haven't seen Moana 2 yet, my boys are more waiting for Sonic, and that was what they wanted to see. But I have heard that plot-wise and story-wise, Moana 2 was very disjointed because they basically took, an 8-episode serial and tried to smush it down into a movie. They didn't even have the original voice actors. So, The Rock was not supposed to be in this Moana 2 kind of collaboration streaming service thing. Neither was the original voice. So Disney is not having a whole lot of great things. Mustafa is somewhat dead in the water. So this is not a great look for Disney. And the fact that the Hollywood Reporter is reporting on this. Disney used to be fairly untouchables. Variety, the sort of industry, media would not touch Disney. So this is kind of a departure on that. And they're kind of doing negative or not so glowingly positive things for Disney. And yes, I am a weirdo Hollywood nerd too. So I just deep dive into everything. With a little more than a week left before the Academy Award nominations are set to be announced, Disney has been sued for allegedly copying the idea for Moana in its sequel. Animator Buck Woodall, in a lawsuit filed on Friday in the California federal court, claims that Disney ripped off elements of a screenplay he wrote for an animated film called Bucky. Both works, which are set against the backdrop of an ancient Polynesian village, follow teenagers who defy their parents by embarking on a dangerous voyage to save their home, while encountering spirits manifested as animals along the way. The filing on Friday's lawsuit follows the court ruling in November that Disney doesn't have to face an actual copyright lawsuit brought by Woodall over Moana because he sued too late. The release of Moana 2 allowed him to initiate further legal action. So they pushed out a sequel. Now he gets to sue again. In that case, the court found that a jury should decide whether the works at issue are substantially similar. We're back. Let me get the screen going. Aha. I have no idea. So Disney Animation would have copyrighted and done everything and begun development for Moana in 2016. Now, the disputed issue of genuine fact regarding the substantial similarity and striking similarity between the parties' works will be decided by a jury, or at least the judge says that there's enough and they want to let a jury figure this out. Moana 2, which may garner an Academy Award nomination for Best Animated Feature, debuted to $224.2 million at the US box office, smashing a number of records on its way to the biggest 5-day opening in history. The original grossed at least $687 million worldwide. I did really like the first Moana. Thank you, Squid. I'm over here like sweating my boobs off trying to get it come back. Thank you so much. Yeah, when my boys are home, it is interesting. I do need to invest in my own internet line. I have just been lazy, and that requires a phone call and talking to people. And maybe I'm weird, but as an introvert, I kind of have to like work myself up to actually peopling. So if there are things that Mr. Mo asks me to, do the laundry, help with dinner, that kind of stuff, I am I'm there. You want me to call the insurance company and try to fight with them over a claim? That is hell. I have to work myself up to make these phone calls. Now, Mr. Mo is an extrovert, so he gets none of this. He's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm psyching myself up to make a phone call." And he's like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Because it's interaction and I have to deal with a person, so I need to get, in the mindset of peopling." And he's like, "The hell are you talking about? You just pick up el phono and say hi." And I'm like, "No, no, you have to know that you're going to be interacting with a person. You have to have it quiet. You have to be not distracted." He's like, "You think way too much about everything." And I was like, "Welcome to being a woman." I would love to be able to put everything in a box and not think about it. Well, thank effing goodness. Thank effing goodness and Lord Chippy attendants, we're gonna need slow reverse, slow reverse, slow reverse. I'll let you tappity tap 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 that out for me. Quote, "I told you we would get you," end quote. Man receives 9 life sentences for SAing multiple kids over a 25-year period. Fucking hell yes. Get this animal, gross, disgusting piece of human corroded garbage water out of this planet. And I'm glad we got him. Why do you look so damn confused? This is a mugshot, you pervert. He usually met the young kids through friends or significant others. Over a 25-year period, he groomed and SA'd at least 6 girls, all under the age of 12. Okay, I guess we're gonna have to Indianapolis Public School this. I'm gonna need to get me my little hair tie because we're gonna have to put this hair up because we are going full on fighter mode. Oh, hell to the no. All right, we're ready. Let's get this going. On Thursday, a Missouri judge sentenced 53-year-old Edward Martinez to nine life sentences in prison. A jury in September convicted Martinez of a slew of charges, including child grossness, statutory grossness, and statutory other grossness of a different orifice, if you can catch me up with that one. Now, Greene County prosecuting attorney Dan Patterson said in a press release that the abuse occurred between 1996 and 2021. The oldest victim was 12 and the youngest was 4. Sir, I'm going to explain to you how fucking lucky you are that you live in a country with due process. Because what I want to do with you involves a cactus stuck sideways in multiple places. So you are so lucky that what you're going to get is Gen Pop justice allegedly in Minecraft, hopefully the first day. Allegedly. You are gross and you destroy lives. But you know what? I hope that these kids go on it and do great. I hope these kids get all the support to live their best lives after you disgusting piece of trash, try to destroy them. They're gonna rise like phoenixes, and you're gonna go to the ash heap, and I hope everyone forgets you. We're getting mad AF, and my youngest son walks in, he's like, "Hey, mom," and I'm like, still controlling anger. Quote, "The evidence showed that Martinez was a manipulative predator who groomed the girls and their families with gifts and support in order to have access to young girls," end quote, the press release stated. Martinez claimed the girls were lying and made up stories because they knew he'd been found not guilty of similar charges back in the early 90s, but the jury did not buy his story. The panel took just 2 hours to convict him. After another 30 minutes of deliberation, they recommended the 9 life sentences that the judge would impose Thursday. After the verdict, the victims felt a sense of justice. Martinez, a family friend, was molested Leanna Brinkcamp's daughter. Quote, I looked him in the eye in court, and I told him that to his face when I was on the stand. I told you we would get you. She told Springfield NBC affiliate KW or KYTV. I said it might take a while, but I wouldn't rest until it happened. And that's what we did. Republic Police Detective James Stevenson told the TV station that Martinez abused the girls over a long period of time. 37 years ago was the first victim, he said. And when you think about that, 37 years of life, essentially, that's what the evidence proved was geared toward victimizing the young and the disabled. Oh, hell to the no. These children were also special needs. There is a special place in a dark corner of hell where I hope Satan and all of his little friends get to have fun with you. If you have seen Little Nicky, I do hope that you get the Austrian painter, treatment. Thank you. Odd story to have right after this. I will have to pay attention to this, but nature's Viagra. Call it a palate cleanser, call it a hard segue, but this is a weird one to go into after that. Low libido and not so stiff anymore. For men suffering from ED, the solution may be one of these natural remedies. ED, which affects about 30 million US men, occurs when you can't keep things strong enough or tall enough for long enough to have some fun. Now, psychological troubles such as stress or past trauma, physical problems like diabetes or nerve issues, some medications or substances can cause it. Welcome, Broken Baker. You came right at the right time. Natural, Viagra. How are we going to do this? I love the. And he's looking so concerned. While many men experience these issues and turn to a medication like Viagra, some do suggest that natural remedies are just as effective in, regaining your stability, your firmness, your firmability, if you will. Welcome, Grass is Green Enough, and Chrissy Bacon, Monty G, Lewis Cox, sorry, welcome. But do any of them really work? We must find out. I do get a little worried because most of my emails ask me about my Viagra prescription. And while I'm not really concerned with length, I do worry about girth. So I do wonder. I don't know why. Y'all, why in the heck do I always get like 93 Viagra subscriptions in my email? I don't understand it. I have no problems with either my length or girth, but thanks for thinking about me, random pharmacies of Canada. A a new study published by Aging Male has revealed that men who regularly drink grape juice could significantly lower their odds of ED. Researchers at the Tianjin Medical University General Hospital in northern China found out that compared to those who consumed no grape juice at all, men who drank grape juice 5 times or more per week experienced an 80% decrease in ED. Grape juice has many phenolalic compounds with health benefits. The red grape juice has more than white. Racist. The team said in report's findings. The research team posits that it's likely because red grape varieties have higher level of plant chemicals called phenols or phenols. These chemicals keep arteries healthy and hinder narrowing that may restrict blood flow to the fun bits. If you want your fun bits working, apparently Welch's is the way to go. That is a good question. I don't know, red wine helps me with my ED. Mr. Mo knows if the red wine comes out, it's fun time tonight. He's like, my wife is getting drunk. And as long as he doesn't play, red wine, which sparks an unquenchable rage in me for some reason, we're good. Based on these results, we can suggest men, especially those over 40, may benefit from consuming grape juice more than 5 times a week. In addition to its libido boosting qualities, red grape juice is also known to improve cardiovascular health. Coffee. Well, let's go with coffee. He looks so damn happy to have his coffee. He probably read this article. I hate that song. That song is a crime against humanity. All right, coffee. Let's see if coffee can help you, well, wake up and stay up, if you know what I mean. A study from the University of Texas Health Center at Houston found that caffeine reduces the likelihood of ED. Researchers found that men over the age of 20 who consume the caffeine equivalent of 2 to 3 cups of coffee a day were less likely to report ED than men who steered clear of the stimulant. Woo, LDS Church. This is not going to be good for you. I don't know how you're going to keep having 24 kids. No coffee. Well, you could get red grape juice, so I guess you're good. How does it work? Well, caffeine has properties similar to ED drugs like Viagra. The stimulant triggers the release of effects that cause the arteries in your schmeckulator to relax, and then it just kind of pops up on its own. Bonus, some experts suggest that consuming coffee can intensify the fun bits for both of you. So do I take a bit of coffee with my wine or do I just have an espresso martini? I'm asking for a friend. Or Irish coffee. I will Bailey the hells out of some Irish coffee. Oh Lord, Shiljatit. Look, I don't know how to say it, and these letters do not make sense to me in this particular order. Okay, this particular whatever it is that you say with an S is a tar-like resin found in the Himalayas, and it has been used as an a Vardic medicine for centuries and has lately been making the round on TikTok. To some, it's known as the healer of all weaknesses. To diehard devotees, they claim the supplement can increase testosterone. Now, according to the Cleveland Clinic, low testosterone affects about 2% of men, with symptoms ranging from depression, loss of body hair, reduced libido, and low sperm count. A clinical study found that men who were treated twice daily with a dose of this particular medicine, Ayurvedic, people are just trying to make fun of me with spelling, knowing I can't read and pronounce things. Thank you so much. So their testosterone and diaripatone. Look, the all the testosterone was up. Look, this is gonna get you boosted, y'all. Now it looks gross, but maybe it'll taste really good with stuff. Beetroot. Oh, hell, I'd just rather have a low test count. Beetroot is gross. Beet is yucky. Like, y'all, I have tried because beets are so good for you and they look so red and beautiful, but they just taste gross. And my mom likes pickled beets and they just stain your hands purple. And then she get mad because you couldn't be Ursula. Okay, maybe this is just a personal thing for me, but I was going to try to dye myself purple from the pickled beets to become Ursula one year. And my mom stopped that, but I was purple for a while. Well, at least my hands and my fingers. She got to me before I got the whole facial area. Beetroot has gained a reputation as being vegetable Viagra. Indeed, the blood red root veggie has been lauded for aphrodisiac properties since antiquity. The Romans decorated brothel walls with images of lusty beets. Well, I mean, I guess if you put them both together, they kind of look like boobs or testicles, but what's a lusty beet? I mean, she packing? She kind of pretty? Are we making a Zootopia kind of beat? Like, what is going on here? Apparently, Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of love, is said to have consumed them to enhance her sex appeal. Despite the beet's long-standing reputation, there is little scientific evidence that back the claim that it enhances sexual health. While there is no hard, pun definitely intended, evidence to suggest that beetroot directly aids ED, beets are known to increase the amount of nitric oxide in the body, a compound that plays a key role in producing and maintaining a stiffy. See, you come to Nightly Newsy News and learn all these things. Beets are a rich source of boron, a trace mineral that increases the level of sex hormones in the human body. And lastly, beetroot improves the blood flow and can benefit the circulatory system, which could theoretically positively impact sexual function in both people. So there you go. Eat some beets, get some whatever this is, drink some coffee and some grape juice. Although I think my new punk band name is going to be Lusty Beat, so or if you have a punk, folk band, I think Lusty Beat is gonna be possibly the greatest band name ever. The Lusty Beats. We're doing it. And if you wanted to be real clever, you could spell beats like B-E-A-T, so it would be musical. Well, he looks like Santa, but he is on the naughty list. A real estate agent unalives three people miles apart across a moving crime scene in a seemingly random rampage. Well, I mean, that's no Gary Busey mugshot, but that is some wild hair there. I mean, you're no Gary Busey, but that's a okie dokie. Cops in North Carolina are investigating why a local realtor went from selling real estate to driving to two different homes miles apart to unalive three people with whom he had no connection. Oh, well, I was figuring if they had a connection, they were either one of those people that backed out of buying a house, like, right at the last moment, like happened to us several times when we were trying to sell our old house, or, that someone like an inspector bailed or something, but these are random people. What went wrong here, sir? Pitt County Sheriff Paula Dance described to reporters at a press conference live streamed by local NBC affiliate WITN Monday a moving crime scene across 6 or 5 locations in Greenville, which is about 85 miles west of Raleigh. The suspect, 55-year-old David Lever, is facing 3 counts of murder and is expected to face more charges. Dance gave a timeline of the crime spree, which started around 1:20 p.m. Friday, when the first victim, 64-year-old Enrique Reyes, came home from buying groceries. Surveillance cameras in the area showed Lever, who lives just a few doors down, walking to and from Reyes's home. Dance says the sheriff said the two men had no connection other than living on the same street. Now, about 8 minutes later, Lever hopped into his van and drove to a nearby gas station. After leaving the gas station, Lever allegedly started shooting out of his van. Now, no one was hurt by the gunfire, but someone did call 911, which was the first indication to police that something was wrong. Authorities say Lever then drove to a home on Peace Ridge Court, some 4 miles away from his home, and knocked on the door of the house. The residents never responded, but they saw Lever driving back out of their driveway and didn't recognize them or him. At some point, he also allegedly shot into another home on Peace Ridge. He drove to the home of Anthony Gribble. Oh, hell no, we don't take care of Gribbles. We are Dale Gribble stands here. We don't mess with Gribbles. The home of Anthony Gribble, 80 years old, and his wife, Paula Gribble, 76, who lived on the same street. He allegedly shot the couple to death. Giant douche move. I don't care what you're dealing with, sir. You don't take shit out on other people. Now, deputies are still trying to establish a connection between Lever and the Gribbles. The Gribble's son was in the area and rushed to the house, and he was able to hold Lever at gunpoint until cops arrived and took him into custody. Oh, that poor young man. I mean, he's probably my age, but just doggone it, to have to see your parents not alive and defend yourself from the crazy maniac that did it. Good night. Dance said that deputies were searching the area around Lever's home at around 3:55 p.m. when a passerby called 911 about seeing Reyes's body in the driveway of his home. Since cops were already at Lever's home, they drove to Reyes's home, and he was pronounced dead in the driveway, suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. Deputies reported they recovered at least 50 handguns and rifles inside his home, along with several more loaded firearms and ammunition in the van. Dan said it will take deputies quite some time to investigate the case that had 5 or 6 crime scenes, not to mention establishing a motive for his mayhem. Dan said that deputies believe that Lever planned to go to more locations to commit additional violence had he not been stopped by the Gribble's son. Had he not been caught at the home of the Gribbles, they do believe that he would have gone on to cause more mayhem. Lever's alleged bad behavior continued at his first appearance on Monday morning when the disheveled looking defendant called the judge a motherfucker. It's a bad way to start a case. I mean, you go in and you say, "Hi, court. Hi, ma'am. Hi, sir." Or you can call him a motherfucker. I mean, don't hate the player, hate the game, I guess. But good Lord, dude, what the hell is wrong with you? You just got okay. What makes the deadly rampage all the more puzzling is that Lever's prior good standing in the community. The Daily Reflector newspaper reports that he is a partner at Lever and Russell Real Estate LLC in Greenville, which owns multiple properties in the area. But now he sits at the Pitt County Detention Center without a bond. So a woman who answered the phone at Lever and Russell Real Estate declined to comment when reached out by Law and Crime. Obviously, his, real estate firm is going through cover your ass mode. So I can imagine they don't want to put out any statements until they figure out what the actual F. Well, let's see here. Oh, I guess I didn't get one. Woman surrenders with celebrity attorney Mark Gallucci over, oh gosh, SI slaying of mom who is protecting 11 or 12-year-old daughter. I think it could be a psychotic break. The economy is not doing great. It could be a lack of sales. I know selling houses is not easy. So who knows? A 25-year-old woman with a lengthy rap sheet surrendered alongside a celebrity attorney Monday over the fatal stabbing of a Staten Island mom who was trying to protect her 12-year-old daughter, authorities said. Jasmine Thompson was joined by Mario Gallucci, who goes by the moniker Mr. Acquittal on X, when she turned herself in to face the murder charge at Staten Island's 120th precinct around 9:40 a.m. in connection with the Tuesday social media fueled slaying of Janira Roundtree, 43, outside the victim's apartment building with NYCHA's West Brighton Homes. She also faces charges for manslaughter, assault, criminal possession of a weapon, police say. Thompson's rap sheet includes 6 prior arrests, mostly for assaults between 2018 and 2019, as well as charges for petty larceny and reckless endangerment. She was also busted while in lockup in 2023 for a contraband-related offense. Thompson knifed Roundtree multiple times in her chest during a social media-fueled melee outside of public housing on Henderson Avenue near Alaska Street. The brawl involved about 20 girls, mostly teens, who were joined by an adult now determined to be Thompson. Roundtree entered the fracas to defend her young daughter, but then became the target, sources said. After suffering multiple stab wounds, she was taken to Richmond University Medical Center, where unfortunately she passed away. Roundtree's friends had initially called the young girl's older sister for help, but the quick-acting mother had gotten involved. The neighbor said the scaffolding obstructed her view of the mayhem, but she heard what happened and she ran downstairs, already seeing officers helping remove Roundtree from the scene. The police took her, she said. When they carried her, I saw she had a lot of blood, and I heard her say, "I can't breathe." That's the only thing she said. Now, Gallucci, who rose to fame by defending, rap, high profile rappers in violent crimes, and later through the USA TV show Partners in Crime, did not immediately return a phone call from the Post. He and his partner, Big Lou Geloromo, made business on taking infamous cases such as the Eric Bellucci murder of his parents inside their home in October 2010. Bellucci later called himself Son of Sam in a reference to the Big Apple serial killer from the 1970s and threatened to shoot Gallucci if he pursued an insanity defense for him. the Staten Island Advocate reported. He also represented Michael Camerata, the estranged husband of missing Staten Island schoolteacher, who prosecutors say teamed up with his 6 months pregnant girlfriend to unalive his wife, burn her body, and hide it in a storage locker in 2019. Just last year, Gallucci represented Christopher Greger, 31, a New Jersey dad convicted of unaliving his 6-year-old son by forcing him to work on a treadmill. Now, you guys, I have seen the treadmill trial, and I want to do it because I want to roast the ever living soul out of this man's body. And kudos to you who could watch that trial because you guys, that trial, just watching the little snippets nearly broke me. And I don't know how that mom didn't launch over and beat the ever living tar out of that man. Because when you saw that little boy fall down on that treadmill, I know it's silly. Oh, and I relate it to me because in that moment, you see this little boy struggling to do something physical. And as a little girl, I always felt, uncoordinated. And my mom was always in gymnastics and things like that. And then watching that little boy fall and the dad put him back up there and he still couldn't do it. And I know that feeling to a very lesser extent. My mom was not crazy. I did not have to walk or run on treadmills. But there is a little heartbreak when you're a kid and, you're trying to do a cartwheel and your brain just doesn't get that. And it's very easy, for all the other kids in gymnastics. I'm reliving my trauma. But it touched me deeply because I understood that sort of, I want to be able to do this for you, parent, but I can't physically do this to a much lesser extent. And it broke my heart. And sir, I hope you are getting all the Gen Pup justice because oh, that trial was I did not cover that trial, you guys. I was not going to cover that trial. That trial, that's going to need to be a Rumble exclusive. Lord Chippy attendants, unfortunately, we have another contestant, and this one, again, dealer's choice. Fast, slow, don't care. Just get it done, y'all. This Cahoot. You are excommunicated from the human race. I don't know what you're smirking at, you little twat, but you're disgusting. A smirking mother ignored doctor's orders to send an infant suffering from unexplained injuries to the hospital. If you would like to add honey and fire ants, I'm okay with this. An Ohio mother is back behind bars after her 9-month-old child suffered broken bones, a black eye, and other unexplained injuries. She apparently ignored instructions to take said baby to the hospital. Now, the injuries happened over several days, showing that this wasn't a single incident, according to police. Scioto County Sheriff David Thoroman said in a press release that his deputies responded to a call just before 6 p.m. Friday from Child Services and New Boston Police Department. Now, I want you to pay attention to Scioto County. Now, Scioto County, I have done a trial from Scioto County, and that is the Dylan Groves trial. Unfortunately, it is another child-involved trial. But if you want to see a prosecutor go to the mat and show just how pissed off she is, just how for reading for human filth she did to this parents, the Groves trial, if you watch the closing statement from that state prosecutor, you will feel the rage in her words, and she is an avenging angel for that baby. But this is also a part of Ohio that has been ravaged by the, pain pill mills, by, these doctors just giving out opiates and things like that. This is definitely an economically depressed area, and it is an area that has a lot of parents struggling with substances. It is a big, big, I mean, people nodding off in cars, people nodding off, this is an actual epidemic in this area. Now, they responded at 6 p.m. on Friday and, took the baby to Southern Ohio Medical Center. Now, the child was later transferred some 90 miles to the Nationwide Children's Center in Columbus, where there is a specialized team of CA doctors. Detectives went to the child's home in New Boston on Friday and interviewed the mother, a 30-year-old Kayla Sierra Williams, and others. After receiving a report from doctors at the Children's Hospital Saturday, investigators took Williams to the sheriff's office for further questioning. Law enforcement determined that the oldest injury was about 10 days old, while the recent one was from about 4 days, according to a press release. Now, detectives also learned that Williams had taken the child to King's Daughter Medical Center earlier on Friday, and the doctors told her to take that child straight to Nationwide Hospital. But she never did, authorities alleged. When Williams didn't show up, the hospital staff contacted Children's Services, which sparked up the investigation, leading to Williams's arrest. Thurman did not specify how the child suffered injuries. The gender of the child was not listed, and Child Services removed two other children from the home. Williams is charged with 2 counts of second-degree child endangerment, 5 counts of third-degree endangering child or children, and she sits in Scioto County Jail on $350,000 bond. But she is a smirking cahoon in her mugshot. Now, what I will say is that this is an incredibly high bail, but I think that Scioto County is still reeling from the Groves case. The Groves case was deplorable, and DCYF, the Children's Services, dropped so many balls in that case that I am sure that they are dotting and crossing every T and every I because it was a giant shakeup. They left a boy with his, substance abuse parents to basically get unalived and tortured for days. So they better be on their game and they better take this seriously because they have a dark stain. Where is I was like, let's get some good stories. I always try to find some good stories. TikTok's lawn guy saves a woman with disabilities from a city fine, then raises more than $380,000 to make her home accessible. Oh, awesome. Thank you, Alice G. Yeah, I want to do more, and I am I am always struck with how much further you get in life if you admit that you're humble and don't know a lot of stuff. And since I have been covering, Canadian politics in my very uneducated, sort of naive American way, it was really nice to kind of get a lot of things explained because some of the names are different and how things go. So that was fun. And we get to make fun of each other's country, which, like Baker and Nicholas, is hilarious. This is so sweet. I love this guy. I hate lawn work, but I will watch his YouTube videos. A landscaper turned influencer who works to trim lawns of neighbors in need has raised more than $380,000 for an elderly woman. Wichita, Kansas-based lawn care and power washing company SB Mowing has garnered hundreds and thousands of likes on platforms including TikTok and YouTube. Run by creator Spencer, who prefers not to share his last name online. Uh, the video shows how the company trims grass in overgrown yards and spends time helping local community members. Many of SB's mowing videos show Spencer approaching his neighbors, often elderly or disabled, who have struggled to take care of their yards and properties and offers them free maintenance. On January 9th, A Friday, Spencer shared a video on the company's TikTok that would become one of his most viewed of all times. In it, he speaks with a woman named Beth who said she had tried for a month to get someone to help her trim her overgrown lawn with no avail. Quote, I got a call from a friend at the city and she told me there's an elderly lady that's in desperate need of help. Spencer wrote in a GoFundMe message. So I stopped by her house and her lawn was getting crazy. She's been trying to get someone to take care of it, but no one is answering their phones. The city has given her a warning for her grass and is going to charge her $240 to cut it, which she can't afford, he added. So I completely transformed her lawn for free, and she was in tears. She was so happy. I'm so sorry. It's just a mess, Beth tells Spencer in a clip where he garnered 100 million views and 80 million likes since it was posted 2 days ago. Spencer offers to clean up the yard and tidy up the odor growth and weeds in her driveway, to which she responds, my prayers have been answered. By the end of the sweet video, SB Mowing has cleared up Beth's entire yard, and she thanks him wholeheartedly, adding, your work makes me twinkle. After tidying up her property, Spencer decided that the yard work wasn't enough. Many users commented on how Beth seemed to be struggling with accessibility, as she uses a cane and has to make her way up and down a staircase to enter her front door. And a lot of people were wanting to donate to help her fix some of the accessibility issues around her house. He wrote in a GoFundMe page, Twinkle, not tinkle. I need to work on my enunciation. So he shared that he launched the GoFundMe to help raise funds to build a ramp and a new driveway for Beth, purchasing a lift chair for her basement, and have enough cash to maintain her yard for the next few years. Other leftover funds would be used to fix several broken windows and purchase a new bed. I really appreciate everyone that helps, donates to Beth. Spencer continued, I will make sure that the money goes towards fixing all the items above or any other accessibility issues that Beth needs. Some leftover money will be given to her in cash, and the rest will be donated to local nonprofits to help other people in the same situation she is. SB Mowing shared some footage of TikTok of the moment that Spencer told Beth that he and his followers would be raising money. Oh my God, she says in the video, reacting with tears and asking why. Well, they kind of fell in love with you and your story, and we just wanted to come together as a community to help you out and get you in a better spot. Those are the things that dreams are made of, Beth added in the heartfelt clip. As of Sunday, January 12th, the GoFundMe has surpassed the $100,000 goal with more than $380,000 in donations. Very cool. And that means that he can help her and have funds set aside for other elderly or, people that can't do as much. That's really cool. Well, I don't even know what I'm looking at here, but it is Florida, and y'all do know it is Florida. A Florida museum gathers 468 people in dinosaur costumes, as you do on a weeknight. Because what else are you gonna do in Florida but dress up like a dinosaur? A Florida museum gathered 468 people in dinosaur costumes to try to break a Guinness World Record. The Cox Science Center and Aquarium teamed up with City of West Palm Beach to take on the Guinness World Record for the largest gathering of people dressed as dinosaurs at West Palm Beach's Green on the Green. My kids would love this. The record to beat stood at 252 people and was set in Los Angeles in 2019. A Guinness World Record adjudicator confirmed that the Florida attempt hooked the title with 468 participants. We did it, the museum said on social media. Thank you so much for everyone who helped make this possible, especially the city of West Palm Beach and each and every one of you who came out to make history with us. We couldn't have done it without you. I mean, people having fun, good, wholesome fun, dressed up as T-Rexes. I don't know why people do stuff, but okay. What in the nightmare fuel is this? You guys, this is creepy AF to me. Like, you guys, I have a very tried and true scientific way that I pick my headlines, and it's usually something important, something going on currently, and WTF. and this would be in the WTF. This would be Skynet, no, hell no, hell no. Robotic puppy shown at electronic trade show seen as a boon for mental health. No, this is gonna scare me, or mostly it makes me think it's gonna try to talk to me and call me scruffy. I don't know, I no, this just looks scary. It's a so, do you know what I imagine happening if I got this dog? I would take myself a little gummy. I would take a gummy, and then this dog would start talking to me. I it looks like it you guys remember Homeward Bound? It looks like Shadow. I would definitely program it to have the Shadow voice like, "Hey, Mo, you look a little down. How about we talk about, responsibility?" Shadow was always the great, but I was totally a Chance. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Homeward Bound, I was totally the Chance. I was just gonna run out there and take things on, be a badass, but Shadow was always smart and knew what to do. Emotional support dogs can serve people with, various mental health needs, but many people cannot care for an animal at home. That's where Tombot Incorporated feels that it can help. The company, based in Santa Clarita, California, has designed a robotic puppy to aid individuals, families, and communities dealing with health adversities. You know, that's actually not a bad idea. I mean, it's creepy to me, but for like all of the people I used to work in their home as sort of an assistant for, developmental disabilities, they were always so sweet and gentle when we would go on a walk and there would be a dog, but obviously they couldn't have a dog. So this would be a great way, especially for elderly and dementia patients. Again, still gonna go with it looks creepy to me, but this is actually a pretty good idea. This week, Tombot unveiled Genie, its yellow Labrador Retriever puppy, at International CES, formerly known as the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. More than 15,000 people flocked to the annual trade show, often billed as the world's most powerful tech event, which ends Friday. The futuristic Genie is intended to provide emotional support and mental health care for people with dementia, mild cognitive impairment, and autism, anxiety, post traumatic stress disorder, and other conditions. It's designed to accurately emulate an 8 to 10-week old Labrador Retriever puppy, so it has authentic Labrador Retriever sounds. Tombot CEO Tom Stevens told UPI. The sounds are from actual recordings of dogs barking, whining, howling, cooing, and snoring. The puppy can open and close its mouth and eyes and move its head and tail and also its neck. Sensory systems allow the puppy to tell the difference between a simple touch and a slow caress or a vigorous pet and being held. In addition, she responds to a long list of voice commands, but only to her name. By using a smartphone app, the user can give the robot any name. Stevens got the inspiration to create a puppy from his mother, Nancy, who had become very upset when he had to take her dog away for safety reasons after her diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease. The journey to launching Tombot became a journey to solve my mother's problems, Stevens said. Only later did I realize her story is shared by more than 300 million seniors with dementia or pre dementia mild cognitive impairment. Along with a team of contract engineers, Tombot handles all aspects of design. A manufacturing partner will oversee part of the fabrication and final assembly. The puppy is a final alpha pre production stage. Soon it will be at the beta stage. Then Tombot will resume accepting pre orders later this year at a cost of $1,500 per puppy. I mean, honestly, I have a very close family member that, is dealing with dementia. And to see how absolutely scared and terrified she can be sometimes because her mind makes no sense one way or the other, it's heartbreaking because there's nothing you can do to help someone escape their mind. And she's confused and she's worried. And It's such a helpless feeling. This would be such a great thing. I hope that this gets all of the, backing because it's hard to lose a family member before you lose them, and it's hard to see them so upset and hurt and confused, and you can't help them, but this would be such a great thing, and caretaker burnout is an absolute thing. If we could get these to caretakers, who are dealing with losing a family member because they don't remember them, I mean, these could be really good. So as much as it's creepy AF, you know, $1,500 is not that much. I thought that these were going to be much more expensive. We have over 8,000 pre-order and waitlist customers, including more than 200 B2B customers. So hospitals, skilled nursing facilities, assisted living, and memory care facilities coming in from 86 countries. The company's co-founder, Henry Schwartz, the chief technical officer, said, "Being that we're rather small and getting bigger, I do many technical things. We all wear many hats at Tombot. I designed the overall concepts used in Genie, our first robotic dog." So, well, no. Maybe I'll get one when they don't look so creepy. Mr. Mo probably thinks I need one. Oh, a squid pro quo. I was mad at my grandpa for never wanting to talk to my daughter. I found out one of his friends that he wasn't remembering anything new in the last 2 years. Yeah, it's really hard to watch someone you love kind of slip away. And they're there for these fleeting moments, and it's so precious because you get to see glimpse, but it's also so heartbreaking because you know that the clouds are gonna come back over the sun and, they're going to be back in the darkness again. So, if these robot dogs can help, that would be wonderful. I have absolutely no idea what is going on in this, uh, but here we go. Fed up farmers in India have started wearing bear costumes to protect, crops. That's a bear. I don't think that's a bear. That is a that is a nightmare fuel bear right there. Whoo-wee. Forget blood and honey. That is a creep. Okey doke. Farmers have been dressing up in bear costumes to scare monkeys and protect their crops. Farmers based in the Indian state of Uttar Pradesh began wearing costumes while patrolling their fields last month. Villagers pooled their money to purchase a bear costume, which the farmers take turns wearing. Yeah, that is a mixable. That is a gorilla wolf dog. That is if someone had the vague idea of what a bear looked like and was high, that is what I imagine this is terrible. A video taken in Dahara, Lakhimpur Kheri district of northern India shows the farmers protecting their mustard, chickpea, wheat, and sugarcane crops. Farmers claim that monkeys have become a serious issue in the area, repeatedly destroying their crops. Despite lodging complaints, neither the village head, block officers, or any of the forest officials have taken any action to address the problem, locals claim. As a result, the farmers decided to take matters into their own hands by using the bear costume to protect their crops day and night. In response, Duhwala Field Director Lalat Verma stated that the farmers are being educated during meetings and advised on methods to safeguard their crops from monkeys. Because apparently, oh, for the love of Cheetos, what is going on tonight with tech? We are haunted. My son was right. We are haunted. So, those are the stories. I will see you guys tomorrow morning, bright and early, with Mornings with Mo. And then I will bring back the robotic puppy. And then I will be adding my own snark, wit, and sass. And I have a blonde wig, and I'm going to try the little baby ponytail to see if it gets me in touch with my, purity spiritualness. But we will be taking on one per se Lori Vallow, a monster with a Princess Disney voice. So, you guys, I will be trying the baby ponytail. I don't know if it will get me closer with the Lord, but if it works for Lori Vallow, I'm pretty sure we will try it to see. Have a wonderful eve Lori, I don't call her Daybell. She wants to be called Daybell. I call her Vallow just to piss her off. She's a weirdo. Bye, you guys. I will see you in the morning. Have a great evening. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and, just have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Bye, you guys.